Hi, Yogi, and welcome to your practice. My name is Alan. This is Yin Yoga. For this practice, we shall be focusing on our hips and our lower back. And this is really good to release attention on those areas. If in case that you would be needing some props, you'll be needing yoga blocks or a bolster or a pillow. Maybe a pillow or a towel or a blanket will help you ease into that pose. For the yin yoga, we shall stay for about 2 to 3 minutes in a pose. And if that is quite hard at this point, you may step back, dial it up a bit, and then return and join us again in the practice. Okay, so when you're ready, begin to place your feet on the floor and place them on as wide as the hips or as wide as your shoulders, with your toes pointing to their 2 and 10 o'clock direction. Begin to place your hands on the mat, or maybe stay on your fingertips, that's just fine. Place your arms inside your thighs or in between your knees. And if the heels couldn't touch the ground for some, then roll a blanket or a towel and place them underneath for you to be able to access this pose. Or if the hips or the hip bones are hanging and you couldn't sustain that, then maybe slip a yoga block underneath and sit on it in the meantime. But for now, we shall stay in our Malasana, our squat. And this is for the next 2 to 3 minutes. And just allowing yourself to sit tall. Maybe pulling your chest forward. And try not to round your back. When you collapse your back, this begins to tilt your hips inwards, and that might not be what we're trying to do. So try to feel that lifting of the chest, lifting of the shoulders. And at this point, you might feel that tingling sensation around the toes, maybe on the heels, or maybe around the ankles. Just stay here for a while. Do not forget to let your breath be your guide to help you stay inside the pose. Slowly, when you're ready, begin to plant your palms down on the floor. So you're gonna pull yourself, your weight forward, so you'd be able to plant your palms. For those of you who have longer upper limbs, longer arms, then that would be just fine. And when you're ready, begin to lift your hips off the floor, extending your legs, and maybe turning your toes a little bit forward until you can pull your head down and lifting your hip up. And create those micro bend with your knees. Stay here. If this is too much, then maybe you can bend your knees a lot, resting your belly on top of your thighs. That's just fine. Now try to notice if there is blood rush going towards your head. Try to slow it down, maybe bending your knees, gazing forward. Or if you can, just let it be, dangle your head down. Now go ahead, reach the opposite sides of your elbows with your hands. And we'll stay here for a couple of minutes. You're gonna feel a lot with the opening of your hips, followed by the stretch and expansion around your hamstrings, the back of your thighs, and your calf muscles. Try to slowly relax even your neck. And if you feel that it's as if you're falling forward, try to stop it or distribute your weight to the balls of your feet and the toes of your feet. Again, remember to breathe in and out of your nose. Now slowly remove the bind from your elbows. With your hands or your fingertips on the floor, begin to roll your spine all the way up. Slowly and gently, beginning to roll your spine until you can roll your shoulders and your neck to your Tadasana, your mountain pose. So stay here for a while and allowing yourself to settle down. You can feel your legs, your hips, and actually we just released our entire back. We shall return to going down from going up, and then we'll come down again. Try to notice if there are other sensations other than the tingling sensations around the feet, maybe the ankles, or maybe your hips. Slowly on your inhale, we're going to circle your arms all the way up. Palms together, gazing towards the sky. And exhale, hands to your heart center. We're gonna do that 2 more rounds. Inhale, circle your arms all the way up. Exhale, hands to your heart center. Last one here. Inhale, lifting your arms up. Then we're gonna bow down to our Uttanasana, your forward fold. So go ahead when you're ready. Begin to bow down. Hinge from the hips all the way down. As you micro bend your knees with your head hanging. So pull your head lower and your hips a little higher. Now slowly grab the opposite sides of your elbows and imagine your added weight around your arms. That would be your anchor to help you dangle your head. You may close your eyes or gaze to somewhere that is not moving, allowing yourself to focus and be able to stay here. Slowly on your exhale, begin to untangle the bind. We're gonna sit down now on our Malasana. So turning your toes again to their 2 and 10 o'clock. Begin to pull your hips down as you pull your knees apart with your arms inside your knees. So stay here for a while. Again, try to sit upright, lifting your shoulders, lifting your chest with your fingertips or your hands on the floor, and stay here for a while. Now on your next inhale, begin to plant your palms down on the floor. You're pulling your weight towards the front, so forward. On your next inhale, we're gonna sweep our feet under. We're gonna sit down first on our Sukhasana, settling down on the floor. So I'm just gonna turn to the side so you can see my legs, my hips as well on the side, and you would know how to sit in this position. What you will do next is have our heels together with our knees hold to the sides. Some of us will have our knees up because of a narrow hip bone, and you may slide a blanket or a pillow or maybe your yoga blocks under to gain, that ease into this pose. When it comes to your butterfly, try to stay here for a while. Notice that your hip bones are flat on the mat. Your ankles would stay in contact with the mat. The knees are, for some, are hanging. My knees are hanging. Alright? It may look like it's flat, but it's not. So at this point, try not to really concern yourself on trying to pull the knees down. Instead, just form a diamond with your legs. No need to pull your heels towards the groin. When you're ready, let's begin by clamping your feet with your hands. So the fleshy part of your hands will be on top on your ankles, and the rest of your fingers are on the tops of your feet with your thumbs right on the soles of your feet. For some of you, your soles may be like an open book. For some, the heels are together flat, but their knees are lifted, and that's just fine. Again, secure your position of this butterfly pose with the blocks under your knees. This would help support if there is a hanging or a tingling sensation around your hips and your thighs, right? So when you're ready, begin to lift your chest. So lifting your chest, bringing your sternum forward, and then slowly begin to hinge from the hips as you drop your elbows inside of your knees. So your wrists are resting on top of your ankles. We're just gonna stay here for a while. You notice that naturally you'll be rounding your back, and that's just fine. No need to actively pull your chest forward. For some of you, you are aware of the tilting of the hips. So some of you might have hips tilted outwards, right? And so you can feel already that compression of your thighs against the mat, maybe your knees, your knee joint, and maybe your ankles at this point. Try to notice where your body is at this moment. So I hope that you're just fine. For every breath, try to sink lower. If you're staying here, then that's okay. Okay? So no need to really sink below, but you'll notice that for every inhale and exhale, you'll be able to pull your torso, your upper body downwards. One more breath here. Now slowly begin to walk your hands forward, or maybe the top of your feet. So you will see that maybe your elbows are on the shins, or maybe your elbows are dangling. When you're ready, on your next inhale, look forward. Begin to crawl your hands forward until you can drop your elbows outside or on top of your shins. Some of you, this might be too deep already. You may grab another set of blocks. If your blocks are already under your knees, excuse me, your blocks will be placed, another set of blocks will be placed under your elbows or on your forearms. Now at this point, try to feel that compression against your outer thigh and your hips. So those are your bones. That would be the femur or your upper leg. And if you can feel there's that rubbing sensation already, that might be your greater trochanter against the collar of your hip bone. So that would be the limit already of your hips. Then try to step back by pulling your feet a little forward, making more space for your upper leg and your hips. But for those of you who are naturally flexible, you might notice that your face is inches away from the soles of your feet or from your feet. Then just stay here for a while. Slowly on your next inhale, look forward, look at the tip of your mat. Begin to walk your hands back to center until you can lift yourself up to an upright position. And you'll notice your body reacting in a way that there might be some pressure against your thighs and the mat, maybe your outer thighs against the hips. Then try to just relax here for a bit. Allow yourself to ground. We're gonna do a half shoelace in a bit, all right? And this is more of a modification of like a pigeon pose or what you call swan in yin yoga. But this would allow you to release the tension one leg at a time when it comes to any pressure surrounding your hips, surrounding your lower back. When you're ready, you're gonna pull our right heel towards our groin. So this is a little bit of a bend. Next up, we're gonna extend your left leg to the front. So some of you might want to pull the right knee towards the side. Some of you will just be here, and that's fine. Make sure that both sit bones will stay on the floor. When you're ready, we'll turn and face our torso to square our hips. When you're ready, we're gonna extend and grab the outer blade of your left foot. You're gonna pull your left elbow down to the knee or down to your shin, and we're gonna stay here for a while. This is to release any tension on the sides of your lower back, and this is also is helpful for that stretching and release. So your hands may be on your waist, your right hand rather, or maybe just resting comfortably on top of the right thigh. And at this point, you may even slide a little further with your left hand as you hinge or bend a little forward towards the left knee. And that feeling of expansion coming from the right waist all the way to your right armpit would definitely be so deep. And even the compression of your waist to the side. Slowly inhale, you're gonna walk your left hand back to center, and we're gonna do that with your right side this time. So go ahead, extending your right leg. This time you're gonna pull your left knee to the side with your left heel towards your groin. You're gonna slide your right hand as you reach for the external or the outer blade of your right foot, pulling your right elbow down to your shin or down to your knee. And we're gonna stay here for a while. You'll notice that expansion, that stretch coming from your calf muscle, your hamstring, and then from your left waist up to the sides of your rib cage or under your armpit, left armpit. And stay here for a while. Slowly on your next inhale, begin to walk your right hand back to center. We're going to extend our legs first to our Dandasana, to our staff pose. So with your feet pointed forward, meaning to say your heels are pointed forward, your toes are flexing upright. So allow your legs to just relax. And then you may grab a pillow, maybe stack 2 blocks. What we will do last would be the snail. We're going to place our head down on the blocks with our hands on the sides of our legs. We're going to walk forward until we can curl our backs. And this will definitely give you that release of your entire posterior chain, your hamstring, your calf muscle, your hips, your lower back, your upper and your mid back. Okay, so when you're ready, begin to walk forward. For some of you, you will see that you'll be able to even drop your elbows on the mat. For some, their palms are planted on the ground. And just let yourself stay for another minute. We're almost done. And again, this is really good for those of you who have been sitting for long hours because of what you do. Maybe you also stand for long hours because of what the nature of your work, the nature of what you are doing. And you'll notice that maybe the toes are turning outwards. That's just fine. But just allow your entire back to collapse, to release, and rest. Let your head hang. For those of you who can, then let your head hang. But for the others, you may place your forehead on top of stacked blocks, or a pillow will do. Slowly inhale, look forward. Begin to walk your hands back to center. We're gonna cross our legs now back to our Sukhasana, or easy seated pose. Placing your hands together and bow down. Thank you so much for allowing me to lead you to another practice of Yin Yoga. I hope to see you again next time.